So I would like to give a special thanks for that support, that extreme support on the last video. I did not expect to ever have that video reach the light of day. I was truly expecting it to just end up on the void of YouTube's algorithm or just the true void of YouTube or even the dark side of YouTube. But I truly never actually thought I would even have like a modicum of success on that video, but I'm so thankful for the small success that I did have. So I would like to say thank you for the likes, the subs, and just the views. Because honestly, I know you didn't have to watch it, but it's just thanks. I don't know what I'm gonna do moving forward, but I'm gonna try to keep doing things new or branch out. So anyway, here's the video.
Hey, Claire!
Okay, so truthfully, I'm not gonna lie, I did play this game when it first came out in 2015, and I only stopped playing it when I had to buy the other episodes instead of just getting the full game, which I'll get into later. But that was probably the most annoying thing for me to run into, and I wasn't really truly a die-hard Resident Evil fan at that time.
What's up,
So
Neil?
anyway,
Something's going down in
I played
Washington.
it
Did you hear
recently
anything?
now, and
What, the
I
new
played it on
virus?
casual and played it on hard,
Come on.
as it didn't touch
We know
whatever the hell
T-Cell's
raid
history,
mode was,
right?
because I have it feels
Hello?
like Mercenaries but turned to RPG, and
Hey,
I
the Fairy
still
Gardens
have
girl?
yet to think about collecting the medals and the larva things.
Yep. Moira started
But I
today.
do have some major dislikes
But
about this
you've got to be
game.
careful if you're going to mention...
In Resident Evil Revelations 2, you're basically playing a prequel or a middle part of Resident Evil 6, because at the end of the story they explain that Chris is in China at that point, so I would say like at the beginning end of Resident Evil 6. But basically the story is explaining what happened to Claire and the continuation of the story events of Revelation 1. But anyways, getting into it, Claire is working for a humanitarian group called TerraSave as they go places that are affected by bioterrorism. And Barry, an ex-Stars member of like the first Resident Evil game, daughter Moira, is just a new hire on that humanitarian group. And then they're all having this party, and then suddenly, boom, I would like to say a private military, but more likely it's umbrella military units, not sure, just raid the party, and then suddenly they're all drugged, and then they wake up in a prison with bracelets, and Claire and Maura make their way through the prison to solve puzzles set by the overseer, who is Alex Wesker, or Fem Wesker. And then later on, 6 months later, Barry shows up to look for his daughter, Moira, as somehow he got a signal from the old radio tower, which seemed to be busted, but I guess magically wasn't busted. And then he meets with Natalia, who he just takes along on his search to look for Moira, as Claire is the one who escaped and left Moira behind. But honestly, just to sum up the actual like important parts, the whole story basically revolves around Alex Wesker wanting a new body, or an heir to her genius, since the viruses in her body are killing her, while she also added the T. Phobos virus, and she wants the perfect candidate that doesn't feel fear, which is basically Natalia, because during events in her home country, Terra Grigia, she went through like mass terror, like bioterrorist attacks, lickers, a lot of like bioweapons, and she just stopped feeling fear for some reason. I don't remember if it was like because of her genes or because of the events literally traumatized her to the point where it just doesn't matter anymore. But you could fact check that if you want. But in the end, Claire's story, Alex pulls a honorable move, if you get what I'm trying to say, and dies in the lab explosion. But turns out in Barry's story, she survived because the T Phobos virus in her body reacted to that small split second of fear that she felt after committing her honorable move. Or I think it was also the other viruses that helped with that, that just mutated her into this, like, witch archetype from like not Last of Us, Left 4 Dead, and it's just weird. But she basically now wants revenge on Natalia because she survived, and she can only be the only one. She doesn't want Natalia surpassing her while she's still alive. She's supposed to be like Natalia, and she's like the false person, basically rectifying and cursing her plans that she wanted all along. And in the end, Alex Wesker gets the Wesker treatment. She gets the RPG to the chest, and she dies. But what I really find it funny is how Albert Wesker never acknowledged that he had a sister, or even acknowledged her as being family. That's what's weird. I know his story is written after his death, but it's just like, if they were ever leading up to this, wouldn't there be like some hints, or like in like RE4, RE5, especially RE5, about like like I have a sister and I just don't like her. It's like there's not even like a document in this game that says like they were just on bad terms and they just stopped talking to each other. No, 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 no. There's nothing I can see. He's just in a photo with her and he just looks not even happy. Okay, this is one of my main gripes about this game. Okay, Capcom, let me ask you this. How come the two games before this one, and even the first game in the Revelation series, had fully integrated co-op? But suddenly, once we get to Revelations 2, you remove the co-op when this game has more co-op potential than the past action-packed games that you released? Do you know how annoying it is to switch from Claire to Moira or Natalia to Barry when I could have just had a friend do this instead? And I get the main argument is this. Oh, nobody wants to play Moira or play Natalia. They can't defend themselves without having to be around Barry or Claire. But wouldn't that make it more scary? Having to be Moira away from Claire to get a puzzle piece item, then chased by an enemy to get right back to Claire, or sneaking around a bunch of enemies with Natalia while Barry's like locked out from another room and can't help you at all, would probably be the most scariest situations for your partner or like second person playing these characters. But what's sad is the only co-op is either locally, which is annoying because nobody really likes split screen as much as they did before, and then it's in raid mode, which just feels like the worst mercenaries mode would have tacked on RPG elements and certain other elements. I didn't even touch it, to be honest. The last thing, what annoys me the most is this. The AI partner is probably the worst in any Resident Evil ever. You swap there like from like Barry to like, or no, to Natalia. Barry is like not shooting at all. And then I had to figure out this was one of the skill point, and then even when I figured that out, he still wasn't defending me as Natalia. This is worse than Resident Evil 5 Sheva AI. I'm not joking. Seriously, why? Okay, next topic of this is pretty major. So this game came out in 2015, right? 2 years ahead of the hailed masterpiece of Telltale's Walking Dead with its episodic releases. So Capcom said, what if we took the bad elements of this and not add the good elements of that what made that game so special? So in result, that was a bad idea. For some reason, Resident Evil Revelations 2 was episodic at release, where day one buyers were literally had to wait for all the episodes to finish the game. And you also, for some reason, can still buy all the episodes separately today. For some reason, I don't know why Capcom still has that. I think we both know why, but it's like stupid. It's just stupid how they ever thought like, oh, Resident Evil episodic. But moving on, it's not much of a horrible thing like the after effect, but I'm pretty sure on release people were probably upset, or maybe not, maybe you were, who knows. It just feels like on the nose for Capcom because Capcom always keeps looking for trends, as you can see with Resistance being basically Dead by Daylight with Resident Evil, and then Reverse being, I don't even know what Reverse is. It's supposed to be like a battle royale, or is it supposed to be like something? It's just Capcom's just always gonna follow trends. I know there's a lore reason in some document in this game for Natalia being able to sense the afflicted, but to me it just looks like pure wall hacks. What is scary about knowing your enemy is in a dormant state right in front of you, or like right across the corner, or like he's walking behind or behind this door? It's like this goes right back into like what I was talking about co-op. At least like it would just be one player that knows, and it's just like it's up to like who's ever playing Natalia to tell Barry, who's playing Barry, that, oh, this guy's not actually dead. He's just laying there. Like, you can literally see the enemy's weak spots, and also just noticing them before, they're like they're even on screen sometimes. And then it's like, I guess, like the collectibles of the like larva bug things are like something, but then there's one thing about this power which is dumb, where it kind of is like it would really have been cool if you could just use this in co-op, because there's an invisible enemy which basically blurs like the screen when you walk into it, and then if you walk into it, it's just insta kill. You can't survive it, and it's like it would be super cool to like have someone point for you, like exactly, like you're so scared you don't know where it actually is, but only Natalia can see it, and then but like playing it alone is just like, okay, just swap again, and then kill it, or just shoot at its general vicinity for once you see the one red stain thing, and that's pretty much it. But like the only time like I did even die to these invisible bugs is in Claire's end mission, where it's just an invisible bug at during the lab explosion thing, which is dumb because I have no idea where it is, and you made this whole enemy just for Natalia. Okay, I gotta give this game this props. The skill points in this game are miles, miles, and miles, and miles ahead of whatever the hell was Resident Evil 6 skill points thing. It's like they actually do something in this game. They actually make a difference, even though there's one bullshit like skill point that just says, "Hey, now your AI partner can shoot at enemies instead of just being a base thing,"
Well,
which was
that was a
just
really
stupid.
long way
And you're
around.
not locked to three slots of skill points. I hope Capcom follows this design every time they do skill points. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say for this part. I'm not gonna lie, I have a hate and love connection between the storyline in this game, because I didn't realize until it was too late that whatever you did in Claire's story affected Barry's story in some way, as they're both 6 months apart. As Pedro in Claire's story, when he mutates and goes crazy from the Tifo virus with the drill, if you don't kill him in Claire's story, he comes back in Barry's story, which I chose to do that in my first playthrough on a harder difficulty, but he was in one of the buildings in Barry's storyline, and I may have died twice. That's all I'm willing to admit. And the other things, like if you kill an enemy with like goop on their head, they leave mines in like Barry's story that like they're like organic mines. And then in the end of Claire's story, there's like a door you can open for Barry at the end of his story in Metamorphosis episode, where like it unlocks like one of the larvas that I probably would have missed if I didn't click that yeah, that monitor. And it's just, wow. I wish more games did this. Like, honestly, to tell the truth, I really do like this game in like the Revelation series, but it feels like Capcom is about to put every Revelation game on the back burner. But what I truly think they should do for like if they do make another one of these is the next Revelations game, Revelations 3, should be about Rebecca Chambers. She's literally been obscured from the franchise. She's the only time I just seen her was in the new movie, which was Death Island, and then I think there was another movie she was in, Vendetta. That's all. And then she hasn't had a game since Resident Evil 0. Like, come on. Revelations 3 is just calling for her name. Like, come on, Capcom. Please. But, anyway, that's basically the end of this video. And I'm being held liable to you to see this clip. And, yeah, here.
There's something ahead. Be careful.